Just you got to get your own fragrance to start spraying yourself.
Yeah.
Body oil.
Fly spray if you carry on licking me on the head whenever we talk about the bushwhackers.
There you go.
Roddy said he's going to eat a garage.
Something like that. Yeah,
what?
That's weird. For us Brits, that's strange. I don't know what that means to Americans, but for me...
If you are American, please let us know what it is to eat a garage.
I'm going to eat a garage. Your eyebrows aren't exactly perfect there, buddy.
Are you insulting my monobrow?
No, I'm not. You're not quite a monobrow, but what I'm saying is that you should be ripping into Zeus's eyebrows.
Okay.
Could you?
Virgil. Virgil.
Virgil.
Oh, lad. Put kettle on, Virgil.
Put kettle on, lonely Virgil.
I left my glasses on one more time. There you go. Go on.
Okay, I'm just enough. Hello and a very warm welcome back to the Gimme Wrestling podcast, where I've been beating myself in the chest for the last minute and trying to create an exciting introduction, but it didn't work. So here we are.
This is what we have.
This is what we have. So, yeah, I'm Dom.
And I'm Ant.
And my chest hurts.
Well, it's going to hurt for the rest of the card. So today we're looking at Summerslam from 1989. Feel the heat, Dom.
Feel
the heat.
I've been feeling your heat for the last, day and a half.
We went out last night, so we're both a little bit hungover.
Spiders in Hull, Spiders
good
nightclub.
Night.
Yeah,
good
it was
night
good. Someday on this page, on our page, on our social media, I will share you the special HBK dance that Anthony did for me.
Yeah,
and
that
his
was
wonderful partner Sarah last night. It's pretty special, and you may or may not see that in the next few days.
I was very drunk.
I'm not sure I can wait for years. I think I might share it next week.
Very good.
Keep tabs on the page.
There we go. So SummerSlam 89, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Jesse Ventura and no Gorilla Monsoon.
No. Tony Schiavone, the voice of WCW, who was gainfully employed by the WWE for a grand total of 1 year.
I think he did 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah, he did two pay-per-views, and it was kind of rubbish, really.
I think he was still finding his feet. I don't think he was too bad on WCW, but he was still finding his feet here, and I think he felt a little bit starstruck almost by Jesse Ventura, so wasn't able to joke with Jesse in the same way that someone like Gorilla was, with that sort of historical relationship. There was a couple of
really nice moments where Jesse was ripping into him for being dumber than
Gorilla. But he had no comeback.
No, it wasn't the same.
No, it wasn't
the same, and obviously not that I wasn't a great fan of some of WCW's products, but as the voice of WCW, nationally, internationally recognised as the voice of WCW, his voice and his general manner annoys the living daylights out of me, so I am not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm about as big a fan of Tony Schiavone as I am of JBL. So, and that's not a very big fan. I'm not a very big fan of...
Not a very big fan at all of JBL, are you?
Not a very big fan of JBL at all.
So, first match?
Yeah.
Heart Foundation versus Brainbusters.
Non-title as well.
Non-title.
Odd.
It was odd, because I expected when it was non-title for the Heart Foundation to win. And actually, I know that the Heart Foundation had an argument with Vince earlier on in the day, because they expected to win, and he said, no, you're not winning. It was good action in the ring. The Brainbusters tried to tag with a foot at one point.
Yeah,
is that allowed or not allowed?
I'm not sure that's allowed. I think it has to be a hand tag.
Well, no, because you see back tags all the time.
You make a very good point.
Exactly. So what is wrong with tagging the foot? But the referee didn't allow it, so I didn't know what the rules is. I thought I'd talk to you about it.
I think the lines are quite blurred at this period.
It was fine.
In this period, there's a couple more heel moves by faces in this pay-per-view that get off just fine, because it's done by faces.
Because they're a face.
That's an 80s thing for sure. Yeah. I wasn't impressed with this match really.
I thought it was alright. I thought the first half of it was a good opener. Kind
of boring. For me personally, massive fan of Arn Anderson as a performer, and I'm a massive fan of Bret Hart. I feel like.
And Tully Blanchard, I thought was great.
For me personally, Blanchard and the Anvil for their respective teams quite boring.
Oh really? I prefer Anvil to Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah, although you could see Hart again, as we said in the last few sort of episodes, he's moving into becoming the main event of his massive single run, really.
Yeah.
The crowd was chanting "Weasel" to Heenan again. Great. Heenan was in this episode quite a lot, and he was great. He was out for most matches actually, and he was great. He did some really good work. He looked knackered actually.
Yeah, I still don't. I don't. I'm not really a big fan of just managers just being out there. Do you know what I mean? Like Heenan was out there a lot.
Yeah,
but
just Heenan would do stuff.
Well, yeah, and it's Jimmy Hart as well. I mean, it's Jimmy Hart versus Heenan. I prefer Heenan as a manager because he's not quite. When you say he does stuff, I think Jimmy Hart overdoes stuff.
Sometimes I agree. I think when I was younger, I preferred Jimmy Hart, and it was because he looked more like a character. But actually, Heenan, you're right, was selling the right moments and getting involved in the right moments and not at the other moments.
Yeah.
About midway through the match, it started to slow down. There was a nice slingshot with Anvil, which almost looked like a spear.
Yes.
I thought it looked really nice.
Yes.
And then after a lifting suplex where Brett is thrown onto Tully and goes for the pin, the ref was then distracted by Heenan. And then after a diving axe handle, which I thought was a weak ending really, Anne pins Brett. I thought it was okay. I just thought it was a little slow in the middle and a little slow at the end.
Yeah. Like I say, there was a couple of slower matches on this card that just didn't really sit well with me.
Cool.
And this was one of them for me personally.
Next up, we have a Dusty Rhodes promo.
Yes.
The proprietor of Heartbreak Hotel.
God, I love him so much.
He's great, man.
I love him so. Like this whole pay-per-view was made better. In fact, every pay-per-view ever in history of any promotion ever has been made better by Dusty Rhodes, and he's
awesome.
One of the performers in WWE history and in wrestling history that absolutely deserves everything that he got. And I'm not entirely sure there's that many blemishes on his character. Do you know what I mean? He was not like Mick Foley, just an all-round good dude.
Well, I think he was given a bit of a crappy gimmick with the polka dots, but he ran with it and made it amazing.
He ran with it. There's no. I'm trying to think of someone. Maybe Goldust would be the obvious. Given a gimmick that. It's just ridiculous.
Well, the Red Rooster is it again?
But
the
someone
same sort of time?
that ran with a ridiculous gimmick and made it as massive as Dusty Rhodes did. I mean, Goldust would be one example in terms of legacy and in terms of impact. But someone that became a world champion wearing polka dots and just being over the top and having a lisp.
Did he ever win the world championship?
He won world championships in many promotions.
I know he won not in WWF.
Not in WWE. No, in WWF. Yeah.
No.
So
in the podcast, we like to go into the history of the wrestlers that are appearing for the first time in the pay-per-views.
Yes,
so we're going to talk. Dom's going to talk a little bit about Dusty and his history.
Yes. So basically, Dusty had a bunch of championship runs in different promotions. Obviously, the parents of more well-known to perhaps some of you guys, Goldust. And also Cody Rhodes, who now bills himself as the American Nightmare in Ring of Honor and the Bullet Club. He was a World Heavyweight Champion in NWA and at his time in Jim Crockett Promotions, which is obviously how a lot of the superstars that became big in that period, they all started at Jim Crockett Promotions.
I think that's why he was given because he was so successful outside of that. I think that's why he was given the polka dot gimmick because Vince didn't want people to recognise automatically that. Yeah,
and then obviously WCW, which was obviously formerly Jim Crockett. He was United States champion, multiple time world television champion, tag team champion, and a 6-man tag team champion as well, which is interesting.
Oh,
I love that stuff. He is one of only 6 men to be inducted into the WWE, WCW, and Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, which is an interesting note. He was instrumental. Obviously, you can Wikipedia a lot of history and stuff on these types of performers with such great legacy. But he was instrumental more than many in making wrestling appeal to a certain demographic of people. Obviously, appealed naturally to a lot of young kids. But these, he was able to access, and Vince McMahon credits Dusty as the person that was, and that allowed WWE to access, 30, 40-year-old men who were working class, who didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of
the plumber son.
You know what I mean? The working classes that found entertainment, they found someone to believe in Dusty, and no one quite. There's a great quote where Vince actually says, and Vince isn't the most giving or generous of people in terms of giving his performance great compliments. Unless they make him a load of money. I nearly managed it. Stop really trying not to swear, guys. You should all start some kind of campaign, and I try not to swear in podcast. But he was instrumental in creating or accessing a whole audience of people that wouldn't normally, because a lot of people that like wrestling, that they're into fitness, they're into there's a lot of bodybuilders and stuff that are into it, and also a lot of kind of, I guess, certain types of people. Whereas Dusty was he was a bigger dude, and he was a natural man,
and he was a main eventer.
And he was
as well.
He encouraged people to be natural, to be proud of themselves for who they are, and still that kind of legacy is felt today. His legacy, because arguably there's not that many people who, I think Mick Foley was probably one of the last ones. I'm trying to think of another one that got to the main event level. So a world
underdog. Are we talking?
No, I'm talking like a guy that looked
bigger,
a guy that looked like he shouldn't have been there, but was there and stayed there for a while. You had Dusty Rhodes, and then you had Mick Foley. Those are the two biggest ones. Gilbert.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
I mean, you could say the smaller guys with Daniel Bryan, but in terms of larger guys,
I'm talking like a guy that looks like most guys. Dusty Rhodes looks like a dude.
I mean, Big Boss Man was in the main event scene.
World champions, I'm talking like. WWE. I know. I suppose Dusty wasn't, but yeah. Anyway, give me some other guys. Give us some other big men that.
Kevin Owens. There you go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. I think also he's done a lot of booking for promotions.
Yeah, he was NXT. Sorry, he was NXT's
NXT
booker
as well.
For a long time.
But he also helped a lot of the guys, and that's why his legacy is so held up to a lot of the superstars nowadays, is because he helps a lot of them find the characters and stuff like that, and give them advice. He
books in WCW and all these other things. Like I say, a lot of people credit Dusty as the person that gave him the characters and stuff, which is really cool. That's my take on Dusty. Obviously, moving forward.
So the match was actually Honky Tonk Man with Colonel Jimmy Hart versus Dusty Rhodes. So again, we've got two people here who both have in-ring styles. I won't say Honky was the best at offensive, but he was damn good at selling.
Mm-hmm.
Dusty had a great in-ring style, again, that you could tell he was doing the dancing as he was going. It wasn't too over the top, though.
No, it was just fun.
Just right. So two great... What I'm sort of saying is it's actually great to see two people with great character work in the ring, working together. First time we hear the American Dream. American Dream. He's just a man. Awesome, great song, love it. So in the ring, Dusty messes up Honky's hair because he was so precious about his hair, wasn't he? The crowd were well behind Dusty from the start. His charisma in the ring and in the promos was excellent all the way through. Honky hits Dusty in the stomach with Jimmy Hart's megaphone to take an advantage. Anytime Dusty's on the apron, Jimmy tries to interfere with Dusty, sort of what we expect. Honky had the advantage for a while, which slowly heads into rest holds and sleepers. That was the part of the match I didn't enjoy as much, but I get it. Honky throws Dusty into the ref and gets Jimmy to get his guitar. Jimmy gets his guitar, stands up on the apron while Honky's holding Dusty. Dusty moves out of the way. He hits Honky. That guitar didn't look like it had much give in it, did it?
No, it did not.
It properly bounced off his head.
Yeah, and it was a nice way to finish it too.
I was wondering if he had been concussed, but it actually looked like he was moving in the when he got the leg drop afterwards.
So he got the elbow and then he finished the pin. And there was a lovely moment where Honky Tonk Man gets spoken to afterwards.
Yeah, it was great.
And he thinks he's going to go sing on stage. And he's trying to find the
he's
stage.
Elvis
That was
again.
brilliant.
Yeah, talking about Lisa Marie.
Yeah, it was really
great.
fun. And he thought Lisa Marie was Jimmy Hart. Yeah, that was great. That was a nice moment for sure.
Yeah. Well, would you have kissed Lisa Marie?
Would I have kissed Jimmy Hart?
No, not Jimmy Hart. Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie was gorgeous.
Yeah, I probably would have done.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And would you kiss Jimmy Hart?
Depends how much money you want to give me.
Cool.
Depends if it's the $1 Million Man offering me some some money. Like I say, everyone's got a price.
Everybody's got a price. Interview with Demolition and Hacksaw. Hacksaw has his GIMP mask on. What are you laughing at? It is, isn't it? How else can you describe the mask?
With the crowd as well, like with the crowd too. It's so hilarious.
Yeah. Just talking about the match, it wasn't a special promo.
No,
next match, Mr. Perfect versus the Red Rooster.
Yeah.
Two great workers.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw it and I was like, yeah, okay,
nice.
it's Red Rooster.
Red Rooster,
two great workers.
We should give. I think we should give more credit on this podcast. I think he took, again, good example. He took a gimmick that was absolutely atrocious and did okay with it.
I don't know if he did okay with it. That's the problem. He couldn't get it over. He can't get that over.
With his TV time.
But he did a great job, and obviously he's still worked in the WWF for 33 years afterwards.
Just unfortunate, really, that this match was cut short because he had a problem with his knee.
Yeah, he hurt his knee toward the end of the match. So there's talk at the start of the match from the commentary team about Perfect's still undefeated streak.
Yep.
So we're acknowledging that.
Yeah, which was maintained beautifully.
Yeah, I think you knew straight away that it wasn't going to be Terry Taylor.
Nice drop kick, nice perfect plex.
There was great speed from both of them in the ring. There was a real nice part when they was running the ropes and like going down and jumping over, and it was really good pace. There's the sort of stuff that you expect a couple of years ago from in relation to the podcast from a couple of years ago from Savage and Steamboat. There was some really nice stuff in the ring.
Very similar dynamic to say like a Dolph Ziggler and an AJ Styles type kind of thing, where you had, the really great workers just keeping the speed really well, hitting some decent moves, but keeping it quite technical as well. Fantastically done.
It was
decent match. Feel bad.
Just wish you could have had more time.
Yeah, the Red Rooster was out. Red Rooster was out for several months as a result of this, of the injury as well, which is shameful. Yeah. It's a shame, rather, yeah.
So next up, we have an interview with Rick Rude. I love Rick Rude, man. Rude is the Ultimate Champion. Bobby Heenan says Ultimate Warrior is letting down all of his fans. I think it's this interview here. If you watch, you've seen the interview where the SummerSlam sign falls off behind Mean Gene Okerlund. On the network, they don't show that one, they show the edited one. So all the interview segments are pre-filmed, so they're pre-filmed earlier on in the day. And basically, as part of the live pay-per-view, they accidentally run one of the filming that they've done where the SummerSlam sign fell in the background, and I believe Mean Gene Okerlund swears, don't he? And it's like an infamous video. You can go find that on YouTube. It's really funny.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
But I think this is when this is the interview that it was in.
So there you go. Go find that on YouTube.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good watch. Bobby Heenan says Ultimate Warrior's going to let down all of his fans and that sort of stuff. Just good promo work, I suppose.
Yeah.
Next match, we had the Rockers with Tito Santana versus the Rougeaus with Rick Martel. So we've seen sort of the breakup of Strikeforce. I'm in two minds about this. I would have liked to have seen, because at WrestleMania 5, which was the last pay-per-view, we had the breakup of the Strikeforce. Now we're getting Tito and Rick Martel against each other, but you're also including these two other tag teams. On one side, I wish it was just them two and we could actually see them. So a lot of the story of the match was about Tito wanting to get Rick in the ring, but him not coming in until he had an advantage, and that's when Rick had beat him up. However, the end of the match I thought was great when you had, and I think the Rockers did a lot of the work, and Shawn Michaels in particular did excellent work at the end of the ring. So I'm a little bit, I don't know whether I think I would have preferred, actually, if it was Tito and Rick Martel, and this was our blow-off.
Just a solid match.
Yeah.
I thought the Rick Martel looked fantastic. Very beginnings of the model, that confidence.
They changed all of his...
Changes gimmicks.
Yeah.
You, without the beard, you look a bit like the old Rick Martel. Yeah, very, very smooth. Very smooth,
Thanks, man.
Just you got to get your own fragrance to start spraying yourself.
Yeah.
Body oil.
Or fly spray if you carry on licking me on the head whenever we talk about the bushwhackers.
There you go. But it was a nice match. You're a big advocate for Tito, and you're right. I feel like he should have springboarded on to similar heights that the model Rick Martel managed to get to.
Tito was in the WWF for years before this, and he wasn't in the first match at WrestleMania 1, I think, against the Executioner or someone like that.
Yeah. Check back on our podcast to find out.
It was just... I don't think he ever reached the heights that he could have done because he was great in the ring, and he was willing to put other guys over. I think that WrestleMania match actually. Now this might be a fact or it might not be. I believe the first WrestleMania match is the only WrestleMania match he ever won. Every other time he was helping put guys over, which is
Well,
nice.
I think I compared him to that time Dolph Ziggler, really great performer. I mean, Dolph has reached incredible heights
and incredible lows
in
as
relation and incredible lows. But yeah, when you look at how Dolph's being used to raise like Nakamura, Bobby Roode, all those people now.
Yeah.
Tito in this time
was that guy. Yeah, I agree. So to the match, Tito obviously wanted Martel in the ring. All three Rockers leapfrog over the Rougeaus. Then all the heels come in and there's drop kicks everywhere. That was a really nice little spot to open the match. Really nice, really tight. So the story was of Tito trying to get into the ring with Rick. It didn't happen until Martel got in the ring against Tito, and he really looked aggressive. And he changed his taunts, he changed his movements afterwards.
Smart, really confident, like a lot of this. Like look at me, which was really
it was
great.
It was a punch and then a
Yeah.
hey, which is great. Yeah, really
fantastic.
good. When Michaels entered the ring later on in the match, the whole energy picked up to the match actually. So that's why I quite like the fact that the Rockers were there. And you were saying about Michaels, because I was watching it, about him developing his taunts that he'd use.
Everything at this point. I mean, it's kind of the same because I guess it's a wrestling style, but everything, the punches, the ways the punches were being thrown, the way he was doing, before he calls for the sweet chin music in latter day time, against, in these big matches, he does all this stuff, and he's doing exactly the same thing now. And he's not leading up to the sweet chin music, but he's doing exactly the same, do all this and all this.
And that's brilliant. The first time we've sort of seen that, really.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see,
a very early version of Shawn Michaels using what he did for the rest of his career. It was really good, that segment, when everybody got in the ring. It was really fast, and maybe that's why they was in the match, to inject the energy.
Yeah, I think so.
Martel strikes Jannetty behind the ref's back and gets the pin.
Yep. Pretty standard heel win there.
Yeah, I think it would have been nice for him to have got one over on Tito though, as well.
Yeah.
I don't really know why it was Jannetty. I don't understand how that helped anyone.
No.
So then we had a video package of Rude and Warriors feud.
That was nice.
A nice video package, yeah. So the whole Heenan family was against the Warrior. So they were really selling the Warrior. So he had so many people against him. And it was the Warrior's energy that got him through it and got him over with the fans. And being able to outfight people like Andre the Giant. Because after this feud, he went into a load of house shows with Andre the Giant, where it was like 30-second squash matches against Andre, because Andre was in ill health. That's how there was getting over. So Ultimate Warrior was becoming the face of the company, really.
Yeah, absolutely at the time, yeah. And it was nice they used, a lot of the times in this pay-per-view, they used, Andre's dominance of Jake the Snake and how... I don't get my Jake fix in this pay-per-view. He's not there.
You got Roddy, though.
Ted DiBiase, we did. Ted DiBiase, Bill's, says that Andre ended his career, and that was all led up to the dominance of Andre, but also, this kind of... I know we're going off topic for this match, but just basically saying that, it was all interlinked, wasn't it? Andre was attacking the Warrior... He looked dominant, but then the Warrior was always able to come back.
Anyone that went against Andre, you was a real force, a star that was coming up in the company, because they knew how much history Andre had.
100%.
So in the video package, the Warrior was attacking Rick Rude after he thought he was about to kiss a girl, which I thought was a really nice little segment. And then we saw Andre attacking the Warrior, and they were just still selling him so much. It was good to see. So this match was for the Intercontinental Championship, and it was Rick Rude with Bobby Heenan versus the Ultimate Warrior. Rude's tights were amazing. They had the Ultimate Warrior on his thighs. Looked great. Warrior, go on.
I was going to say it's my favourite match. I am not a fan.
I agree.
I'm not a fan traditionally of the Warrior. I've become more of a fan since we've been doing this podcast of Rick Rude. But I thought they put on the best match of the night, and I thought Warriors...
It was a lot better than the WrestleMania 5 match.
You remarked quite well. You were quite perceptive about Warriors' ring skills. much vastly improved on previous outings for him, I think.
Than what it was, yeah. I think it's hard, and I sort of sympathise with Warrior in a way, because to keep up that energy means that I don't think he could focus on getting the moves that tight. You know, he had to be
It's very
around
like a John Cena type thing where you have your stock moves and you build the excitement, but you're there to you're there. You know, John Cena's there to do the 5 knuckle shuffle and the the attitude adjustment. It used to be called the FU, and the attitude adjustment. And you know, Warrior is there to do the lifting. Powers, the lifting, press slam, and then the Warrior splash.
Well, talking about the press slam, he did a great press slam with Rude and lifted him up so easy and just threw him outside the ring, and that looked great.
I was thinking, man, every time someone does a press slam, I kind of wince, because you know you got to put one hand on someone's, you know, near someone's knackers, and what happens if you miss? What happens if you miss? Do you know what I mean? What happens if you don't get it right? You know, you're basically lifting someone. I've been press slammed before.
Have you?
You've been press slammed?
No,
I used to play wrestle quite a bit when I was younger. Because I've been a wrestling fan for a long time, and I used to play wrestling quite a bit. And I've been press slammed by a friend, and I can tell you for nothing now, when you get press slammed the wrong way, and when some dude or some person is using your knackers to lift you up, it's not fun. So Rick Rude must not have been, you know,
if you want, after we've done this podcast, you can press slam me.
I don't think I want to.
I don't think it'd happen.
I'm not sure it would happen. But thank you for the offer.
All right.
But yeah, no, really, really well done. Beautiful match, back and forth.
Warrior hit Rude on the outside with a title belt. Even the announcer said he should have been disqualified for that. He should have been disqualified for that completely. Warrior mocks Rude with a hip shake at one point, which was great little character work. The referee gets knocked out and misses all of Warrior's pins. Really nice storytelling.
Yep.
A real nice pile driver from the Warrior, which was nice to see.
Good.
Again, that's sort of what we were talking about, the improvement of moves. And then Roddy Piper comes back out.
That was good.
Whilst Rude has the upper hand, Rude starts taunting Piper to which...
Yeah, you think he just wants to do that. He wants to do the hip shake thing again. It's like, so why would you do that? Why, it's just like...
Piper moons him, shows him his backside, and he gets frustrated, and Warrior gets the pin.
Yep.
I thought it was a really good match. Really good energy. The crowd were into it. Really enjoyed it. You? Yeah.
Yep, best match of the night for me.
Yeah, great, cool.
Yeah, and then so that was a really good match, my favourite for sure. And there was a nice promo after it as well.
Yeah, with the Mr. Perfect. So he was basically building up the Perfect Plex.
Yeah.
That was the idea of the promo. It was good though, again, and sort of saved. We had a couple of quick promos in succession here. So then Roddy Piper came in for an interview. Roddy said he's going to eat a garage.
Something like that. Yeah, that's weird. For us Brits, that's strange. I don't know what that means to Americans, but for me...
If you are American, please let us know what it is to eat a garage.
I'm going to eat a garage or a garage. Garage.
If it was to eat a garage, that would be like a place where we store our car.
I'm pretty sure it's the same. I've been to America enough times to know that it's the same.
So
it's odd.
Then why did he say it?
It's odd. But yeah, that
it was a weird promo.
Fine. It was a weird promo, but it was so good.
Yeah.
It was like,
it was nice to see Piper back.
Yeah, it was so much fun. You know, very much similar to the Dusty Rhodes. Just a fun promo. And brilliant, really well done, yeah.
We'll get a quick promo by Ronnie Garvin as he comes out dressed in a tux and says he has a special job tonight.
Yeah.
If you remember, Ronnie Garvin was in a retirement match against Greg Valentine.
Which he lost.
He lost, yeah.
But then he kept antagonising Valentine, so Valentine was like, reinstate him so we can figure everything out.
Yeah.
And then this happened,
So Bobby Heenan comes in and he this was a good promo again. Infuriated with Piper. Piper doesn't have a manager's license.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they didn't actually need manager's licenses.
No.
And complaining about the loss of the title with Rude. And that was a great interview segment. I thought the whole promo section was. Video package of Hulk and Zeus and Macho Man, and Brutus was probably somewhere in there. But I mean, it wasn't that important.
I mean, Zeus looked scary. He was built like a Braun Strowman for this age. You know what I mean? I
had a real problem with the Zeus in the match.
Man, I thought, you know what? He was built like a monster. He was put across like a monster. He was genuinely scary.
He wasn't Braun Strowman, because Braun Strowman can wrestle.
Can he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, man.
He can wrestle more than Zeus.
Well, Zeus was an actor.
Did you see? I know he was an actor, but I get it. I just think that your monsters should be Like, The Undertaker's a monster, and he's got skill as well. Zeus had no skill.
Yeah, but he only had 2 pay-per-view performances, and he was by trade. I know all wrestlers to a degree are performers or actors, but but he was by trade an actor.
But the reason they
bought him in because of they bought him in because of No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred, so advertised the film.
And the movie, But
he was just a character that was.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not defending. Well, I suppose I am a little bit, but yeah, he was an actor. He had 2 gigs for WWE or WWF at the time, whatever, and he did all right with those things.
Well, he made a lot of money.
He made a
hell of a lot of money.
Made a lot of money, yes, a lot.
We'll talk about him more, I think, when we get to the Zeus and Macho match. But yeah, I had massive issues with him. So the video package, you saw Zeus's mad eye. He was actually blind in one eye, but we'll talk a little bit about Zeus later on. And the monobrow, painted on monobrow.
Painted on?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Shows Macho and Hulk getting tag team partners and interfering with each other's matches. Zeus just no-selled everything. That was Zeus's gimmick.
I thought that was good, though. It was like old school Kane, like back in the day.
But again, Kane had
yeah, but
skill.
it makes it more frightening when you don't like.
Yeah, I get the frightening. You want a wrestler, and so I don't particularly want a non-wrestler in my main event. You know, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even the chairs that they was using had no effect on Zeus whatsoever. He'd undersell chairs. So next match we had the Twin Towers, Akeem and Bossman, with Andre the Giant and Heenan versus King Duggan, because he'd won the King of the Ring tournament, and Demolition
with his gimp mask.
It wasn't supposed to be King Duggan, you know. It was advertised as being Royal Rumble winner John Studd. Yeah, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Yeah, and Andre the Giant was actually arrested a week before after a brawl with a journalist at a house show.
There you go.
And that again nearly didn't happen.
Well, you would seriously rethink your career out. I mean, if Andre the Giant wanted to attack me, I'd be like, screw this.
It was to do with him not wanting. The journalists weren't allowed to film the event, and they started filming, and it ended up in an altercation. Ended up getting arrested. There's actually a famous mugshot of Andre from that. Yeah,
right, I'll check that out. Cool. This was meh to me again.
It was a bit meh.
The best bit about it was the old 80s. It's okay if you're a face to do something heel. When Duggan smashes Akeem with the 2x4.
Duggan was a bugger for that.
The two before to win.
So at the start of the match, we see a sign in the crowd, which again I think we should mention just as we're looking back, and it's just one of them things that you go, ooh.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have meant
no, it meant nothing then whatsoever. But the sign actually said, "Demolition will topple the Twin Towers."
Yeah.
Followed by a drawing of the 2 Twin Towers. But looking back at a historical reference, it does make you go, "Ooh."
Yeah, totally.
Is what it is. Duggan has decorated his 2 before with an American flag and a baby crown on top, which. Fair enough.
Yeah,
it's quite rare that you have a face as a King of the Ring winner. To be honest with you, there were normally heels as King of the Ring winners. So to have Duggan as a winner was interesting to see. Smash had Duggan had also painted a USA flag to match in with the theme of Demolition having makeup on. Smash had glitter in his hair. I don't know why I wrote that, but I did because he had glitter in his hair.
Because sometimes we like to glitter.
It's sparkly.
We like to be sparkly.
Sparkle crotch.
Sometimes.
There was a nice moment where Slash slams both Akeem and Bossman.
I'm just checking you for glitter now.
Have I got any glitter on after last night?
Did you have glitter on last night?
No,
it was heavily made up last night. It was quite pretty.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
So there was a nice moment where Smash slammed both Bossman and Akeem straight after each other. Again, looked really strong. Hacksaw Jim Duggan hit Akeem with his 2 before, which allowed Smash to get the pin. It doesn't feel like a lot happened in the match, and Andre didn't get involved at all. I think he might have stepped into the ring and headbutted someone at one point, and that was it.
Yeah.
I get that he was sick, but the match felt naff, especially compared to the rest of the matches, which I've enjoyed so far, actually. So next up we have an interview with the $1 Million Man with his belt and Virgil, who was... Virgin, yeah.
The Virgin Virgil. Are you watching? Are you still a virgin?
He was holding hundreds of dollars, did you see that? That was from all the people's photographs he'd been made in.
Probably still living on that now.
Yeah, the printed out $100 bills that you can't use anyway. Yeah, the $1 million
He'll
man.
find a way. He's nothing if not resourceful. Is our Virgil.
Yeah. Our Virgil.
Our Virgil.
Our Virgil.
Our Virgil.
Oh, lad.
Our lad.
Put kettle on, Virgil.
Put kettle on, lonely Virgil.
So the $1 million man has a promo where he's talking about going to destroy Jimmy Snuka and put him back into the history books. Nice little promo there with his $1 million belt. Then we see Ronnie Garvin come out as the ring announcer. This is for Hercules versus Greg Valentine.
Blech.
Yeah, it was a weird.
I really like Hercules. For some reason, I just like him as a face. But yeah, it was just this.
He was a face here.
He was a face. That's what I'm saying. No. That's what I'm saying. I like him as a
It was a boring match. I mean, the whole thing here, it had nothing to do with Hercules. It was about Greg Valentine and Ronnie Garvin.
Yeah.
So whilst Valentine, so he gives Hercules his introduction. Then when Valentine starts coming down, he just starts throwing insults as he's coming down, which was quite good. There wasn't any wrestling to talk about, but that was quite good.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And then Hammer went to attack Garvin from the start, but Hercules gets in the way, and that starts off the match. There was a couple of suplexes, but the match was nothing.
No.
Really.
I mean, there was a nice. It was nice at the end where even though Hammer cheated to win.
Well, yeah, Valentine.
Got the feet on the ropes and cheated to win. That was actually an official decision. Garvin refused to announce. Valentine as the winner.
So you announced Hercules as the winner.
And then Hammer goes after Garvin, but then
Hercules
helps him out.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. It's quite nice to build the feud. That was good.
Yeah. Then we had a weird promo, actually. I don't know if I liked it or not. I normally really like Mocha's promos. I thought this was... so we had Sensual...
I'll tell you what. Sensational Sherry, or Scary Sherry as she's known now, whatever. Man, she's got the cauldron, she's got the smoke.
Are you attracted to Sensational Sherry?
I am very attracted to Sensational Sherry. Man.
Sensational Sherry or Elizabeth?
Both. but like Sensational Sherry looks like she'll do some horrible, wonderful things to
some horrible, wonderful things. Look at you getting excited.
Sorry for being inappropriate on the podcast again.
It's all
I'm
good.
a terrible human being. Respect, of course, to Elizabeth and Sherry.
Yeah, because of course they're both dead now.
Yes, indeed. That's what I was going to. Yes.
Yeah. So Sherry was with a cauldron.
You're the most insensitive.
What?
Bugger.
Why?
Well, they are dead, and I'm being respectful.
Good for you.
Trying to be respectful.
I can still look at photos of dead people before they died and go, oh yes, they were attractive when they were living. or not. Or someone dies and you're... So Cleopatra.
What do you think?
You can't say that Cleopatra was hot. Because she's dead.
She was attractive.
There we go. They were both beautiful women.
Beautiful women. Anyway.
Beautiful women.
Beautiful women. I'd have gotten her cauldron.
That was so disrespectful.
No, the cauldron with the smoke.
It's like an innuendo, man.
It's not an
It was an innuendo.
I didn't mean
it as an innuendo.
No, I didn't
You did.
Now I'm thinking about it like that.
Yeah, I just like to dive into Sherry's cauldron.
That's not what I meant.
That is exactly... Please, it's recorded. That is exactly what you said.
In the context of the promo with the cauldron. In the smoke. I would have got in the cauldron. With the smoke.
Bet you would have, yeah.
Shut up.
All right, mate. So, anyway, let's talk about this scene. So, they were predicting the future, was the idea, and there was prediction that they'll destroy the weak link Brutus.
Yeah, which is sad.
Zeus was there, twitching his eye, doing not very much. Yeah, a bit weird. Didn't enjoy it as much as the normal. It was all right. You like Sherry?
I liked all of it.
Okay, very good. $1 Million Man with Virgil is next versus Jimmy Snuka.
My opinion.
You are?
Dismissing my opinion.
No, I respect your opinion. It's just wrong. $1 Million Man with Virgil versus Jimmy Snuka. Virgil gets involved early on, holding Superfly. When DiBiase attacks, he obviously misses and hits Virgil. Mm-hmm. Normal sort of heel, face, manager antics. There was a bit of a botch as DiBiase was running.
And going for and then Snuka went for the...
a leapfrog.
Oh,
but the thing was, he was doing it backwards anyway.
Yeah.
Like, how can you judge when someone is... Yeah. So he'd leapfrogged him once as he went forward, and then instead of turning around, Snuka had stayed facing the same way, so he was going to jump as as DiBiase ran the other way, but just sort of landed on his head.
Yeah, which could have been really bad.
It could have, yeah, it might, yeah.
It looked awkward.
Yeah, it looked awkward. Yeah, I thought there was good work for most of this match. I think Snooker looked like he had a bit of ring rust, if I'm honest with you. I think DiBiase did a good job. I don't know. He looked a little sloppy to me at times. Obviously, Virgil gets involved again, leading to DiBiase getting the advantage and throwing Snooker into a ring post. That's when Ted DiBiase wins by count out.
Yep.
Fine. I didn't really...
It was.
It wasn't a bad match.
No.
It was just... I didn't get what it was doing for Jimmy Snooker, I suppose, as well, because here we have... This is the first time we've seen him since... Is it since WrestleMania 1?
It was a long time. Yeah, it was a long time.
I think because he was in the main event of WrestleMania 1, so we saw him come out in WrestleMania 5. This is the first match, and so anyway,
it's notable thing that Snooker gets as well after the match. He gets to attack Virgil. That was nice.
Yeah, he attacks Virgil and he does the
Superfly splash, which is brilliant.
Yeah, so brilliant. Which people wanted to see.
Yeah, and the chop.
I just don't understand why you get someone like a bit like John Studd winning the Royal Rumble. Like, I don't agree with it, but at the same time, it was a returning superstar. That's why they give him the win, because let's make everyone remember what a big person he is.
Yeah.
That didn't happen here. It was just sort of.
Yeah.
And do you end up with like Mickie James syndrome? You know, like Mickie James when she come back and she was defeated by Asuka, and she hasn't had any sort of really noticeable wins.
She's about to.
Is she?
She's about to take on Alexa Bliss. She's going to be the next challenger for Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, but she won't win it.
Well, no, she won't win it. But it's nice. It's nice. The whole thing of Alexa Bliss, calling her old and all this stuff, and then she's going to come back. She's going to have a good showing. She's a credible performer. That if they keep her around, she'll do some. She's an incredible worker. I think Mickie James is one of the best female performers in WWE history, personally.
Okay, cool.
But that's just me, and we've diverted from the
sorry.
pay-per-view.
Well, what I'm saying is a returning superstar.
Sorry, I do
weak
apologise.
So.
I'm not sure I wouldn't call Mickie James' return weak.
No, I would. I haven't seen her do anything that I think's been strong yet.
That's great, but you're wrong.
Okay. Well, you're just dissing my opinion, are you now?
Well, yeah, I respect your opinion, but you're wrong.
Awesome. Next up, we had an interview with Hulk and Brutus. Barbershop with his shears.
So every time he gets him out, and it's like Hogan stood there, and the shears are like relate, like distance maybe from me to you. Yeah. I'm thinking, shit, man. Yeah. Like, sorry, that's number 2 or 3. I think this podcast, but I'm thinking, whoa, that's bad, isn't it?
I'd never let you stand there. Scissors would be, or hedge. They're not scissors, are they? The hedge trimmers.
Yeah. But it's frightening, isn't it? And they don't look. They look like they might be blunted a bit, but they're still hurt, wouldn't they? Still hurt if you.
Of course I would. Yeah.
If I jabbed you in the shoulder.
Hulk promos about being in Washington and parting the Red Sea with his pythons or something, or some lake with his pythons or something. Wow. Brutus then says the blades are a part of him.
Yeah.
Really?
They're a part of me.
Really weird.
Like we're just peering through the fucking shit. Them 4.
5.
Peering through the shears, like.
Yeah. It was weird. And then we had the Genius enter the ring for a poem.
Yeah, Macho's brother.
Macho Man's brother.
Yeah. No great, not a great professional wrestling carear.
He did some stuff. I feel like we've had him on one of the early pay-per-views, I think he was actually wrestling.
He's been around.
Maybe we'll have to look at the history of him, because he wasn't in the match card. We haven't sort of divided him.
I think we've discussed him. Check back, of course, but the Genius gimmick. What do you think of that?
Rubbish. It was the WWF usher in the cartoon era. And
right. Interesting.
Yeah, or at least I think it was.
Yeah, the placement was weird. Why was he there? What was he doing?
Yeah.
Why was he dressed like that? You know what I mean? Like, would you dress a Genius? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, and the poem thing. It's to get heat on people. So the poem that he's reading is a poem that's anti-Hulk and Barber, basically.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel like it had the effect it wanted, though.
No.
Maybe it will, because he appears a lot more in future pay-per-views. Maybe at a later date it'll feel more like there's a reason for him. At this point, it didn't feel like there was a reason for him, did it?
No.
It felt a bit like an Aiden English promo with no fight or
with
anything afterwards.
There was no singing. There was no singing, and
Well, there was nothing. There was nothing to come out of it. At least with Elias Sampson. If Elias Sampson goes and does his thing.
Yeah, I'm getting more and more into him every day.
I love Elias Sampson.
I hated him.
Hilarious.
I hated him. And now, you know what? He's done better on the main roster than he ever did in the NXT.
I think he has, yeah. I think it works in a bigger crowd, I think. It's great.
And just like, you can imagine, digressing, you can imagine in a few years, that whole, who wants to walk with Elias is going to be big.
Yeah,
Anyway,
fingers crossed. We'll see.
Yeah,
I think there is a ceiling for him, but hopefully he'll push through it.
Anyway, go for it.
So the next match is the main event. Now, I've enjoyed the pay-per-view up to this point. I think there's been a couple of weaker parts. I think the latter half of it was certainly a little...
It's hard, actually. We agree on pretty much everything on this one. The weaker matches are definitely... we both see them as weaker. The stronger matches, we've both got the same opinions. But
your opinions are right this time.
Thank you. Thank you kindly. This whole match... it's built around Zeus being this kind of unstoppable force. Zeus dominates until Macho comes in, and then the faces get a little bit back on them, and then Zeus comes in again and dominates, and there's this ridiculous loaded purse that Sherry brings in.
Get
it's
into
like
that.
a brick, and you've got Elizabeth down who's introduced, as a kind of surprise, but we all knew it was going to happen anyway.
It was. I thought some of the story stuff was okay. I just think, for me, it was Zeus was really annoying. So the actual match is Hulk Hogan with Brutus Beefcake versus Macho Man Randy Savage and Zeus.
Yeah.
With Sensational Sherry, of course. The advertisement is that there's no Elizabeth. Talk a little bit about Zeus, but he didn't have that much impact in professional wrestling. He was blind in his right eye as he was born with a detached retina, and he was an actor. He's appeared in a lot of films. He's appeared in a film called Friday, which I've never seen.
Little Nicky,
Dark
Knight,
Goldmember, Zootopia. He was a voice in that last year. And he's
had
music
videos as well. He's done some good stuff.
Yeah, he's had 2 runs in wrestling. There was this one which sort of lasts this pay-per-view, and the next pay-per-view, the Survivor Series, is still this sort of Macho Man, Brutus, Hulk, and Zeus as one of the matches. The other run that he had was in WCW in 1996, and that was as part of an alliance to end Hulkamania. So again, just a short.
Tied in with Hulk Hogan again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if they filmed a film together and you've got that storyline, and that's all he's there for. He's there to promote the event. My problem with Zeus is that, first of all, I think he looks awful. I think his Z in his in his head.
It looks like a dominating beast.
No. He's got a shaved Z in his head. He's got a monobrow. The eye thing is fine. That's not a problem. He was blind in one eye. I mean, how can you,
Just saying that your eyebrows aren't exactly perfect there, buddy.
Are you insulting my monobrow?
No, I'm not. You've not quite a monobrow. But what I'm saying is that you should be ripping into Zeus's eyebrows.
Okay.
Should you? Really?
Maybe I shouldn't.
Whether it's drawn on or not.
I'll have to have a look and see if my eyebrows are.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not
You've
saying.
You've upset me now.
What do you mean?
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I feel like I've got one big eyebrow.
No. I'm just saying that you should be a little bit more sensitive to other people's eyebrows.
Well, they were drawn on.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
They want his real eyebrows. They were drawn on.
Yeah,
it's a bit like saying, the Muppets, because they all have one eyebrow, don't they?
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, so yes, my problem with Zeus was he wasn't a wrestler. He was in a main event of a pay-per-view. In the same way I have a problem with Mr. T being in the main event, and I thought Mr. T did a better job than Zeus. Zeus had a character that was walk silly and look silly and don't sell anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a wrestler. That's not a character I'm interested in seeing in a main event.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring. Hulk Hogan's better than that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, you're entitled to that.
Okay, thank you. Am I wrong?
difference of opinion.
So you like Zeus?
I like Zeus.
You like Zeus?
I like Zeus.
Did you like the giant Gonzalez then?
No.
Well, what's the difference?
Zeus has...
What's the difference? Because Gonzalez had more wrestling skill than Zeus.
Zeus had more of a... He was more fearsome. He looked more the part. He looked exactly what they wanted him to do. He had everything. You know, he had the physique. He had the monobrow.
But Giant was a giant.
Nah, but he wasn't intimidating. He was wearing a skin suit.
Yeah, but that's not his fault. I mind you, if he,
Well,
if
yeah,
he didn't
but
wear it,
Zeus looked fucking intimidating, man.
Okay.
And that's what he was there to do.
I wasn't intimidated.
You would have been intimidated if he was still
I wasn't intimidated. I would have been more intimidated by Yokozuna. And I could outrun him. I reckon.
Anyway.
So the match. After the heels have entered, Barber gets an entrance. So we have Macho Man, Sensational Sherry, and Zeus all come down together. After that, Zeus. After that, we get Barber getting an entrance by himself. That annoyed me. Why won't he come in as part of a tag team with Hulk, you know? Like, yeah, annoyed. I thought they also looked too different as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to have a tag team, get him to wear the yellow and red, and it would have been...
I think he does have a spell of doing that.
I think they do. I think maybe at Survivor Series they do, but at this, it was very much Barber and Hulk, so they don't feel like a tag team. Hulk gets to Howard Finkel and asks him to announce the next person down into the ring, which is Elizabeth.
It was beautiful.
Surprise! Nice, and she looks great tonight in a red dress.
Yep.
Looks stunning.
Yeah, it was nice.
And the commentary is saying, well, she's not scared. She's not scared after all, because we've had that whole domestic violence indications between her and Macho at WrestleMania 5 and stuff like that. And afterwards. So we're going to the match. Hogan can't hurt Zeus. Zeus undersells him all the way through. And this is my other problem with Zeus. So the extent of his moves is a choke and a bear hug. And
he does the axe handle.
Does he do an axe handle?
Beat downs, yeah, but like beat downs.
Oh, right, like that. Okay.
Yeah, like.
Okay. I think you're doing a better job of selling it than Zeus did.
You know what I mean?
You see, I think you would have been better in the ring than Zeus. So Macho gets into the ring, and so we can actually see some wrestling in the match, which is quite a shock for this event. So we see Macho against the Hulk, and Macho's doing a great job doing all the heavy lifting, really. After Zeus has a cuddle with Hulk for a while, Brutus eventually comes in. I think that move it's not a bear hug, it was a cuddle. Do you agree? Oh, I can't breathe. Yeah, that was sweet. Thank you.
Just thought that you needed one.
So then Macho Man attacks Brutus with Sherry's loaded purse. What was that like?
It's got a brick in it or something.
A brick in it, right. Okay, it had nothing in it.
Yeah,
it was like the flimsiest little thing.
It gets used twice.
It does. It gets used now and later on.
Against Brutus.
Yeah, so Brutus was knocked out, so selling the purse. Zeus failed to go for the pin at that point. Clearly hasn't been told the rules of wrestling. Macho goes for Elizabeth outside the ring, which was a nice little moment from Macho and Elizabeth storyline. Hulk saves her, helps him. And sorry, I don't know what that. I think it's some sort of antivirus or something on my computer.
You watch a lot of weird stuff.
Brutus eventually gets tagged for a bit of back and forth with Savage. Sherry interferes during a suplex, meaning Savage nearly gets a pin. It was actually quite a good near fall there. Hulk no-sells an elbow from Savage. What?
Yeah, that
you don't sell an elbow from Savage?
Straight back up.
No, don't like that. Savage manages to tag Zeus. Multiple hits to Zeus, eventually taken to one knee.
Just lost a plug out my ear. Look, everybody, check it out. There's a hole in my ear.
Did you get too excited? And
I got too excited.
Oh, bless you.
So now you can see a little hole in my ear. Anyway, so as I was doing, my Hulk up.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you feel it?
I want to elbow drop you.
Yeah.
But you don't kick out of an elbow drop, man. No, don't like to see it.
Nor do you kick out of 3 or 4 or 5.
Like, which I think
or you did, yeah.
So Hulk no sells an elbow drop. You don't sell an elbow drop, man. I hate it.
He gets up and he does the Hulk up. He's it also happens like doesn't Ultimate Warrior take 5 of them? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's it's one of the best moves. Although now I believe there's another contender for the best elbow drop, and I think I highlighted this last podcast. I believe that the
Velveteen
Dream has the best elbow drop, or what? Maybe only secondary to Savage, but maybe better. It's so good. It's a thing of beauty when he does it. Anyway.
So Macho tries to interfere with Sherry's purse, so he goes up on the turnbuckle to go and drop the flimsy purse that apparently has a brick in it but can't actually fit anything in it.
Yep.
And then he gets pushed off the top rope by Brutus Beefcake, so Savage is out. Sherry gets flipped off the
rope.
Yes, off the rope. Yeah, that did sound a bit bad, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
It's all right. You want to dive into a cauldron? I'll talk about Sherry getting flipped off the apron by Elizabeth, and then we get a nice shot of Sherry in suspenders.
Yep.
Did you enjoy that?
We asked. Can I just say we're not pervs? Like you just keep
Speak
talking.
for
You keep talking about all these. Like we respect and love females in the wrestling profession. Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, it's a wonderful thing that she had suspenders on and they look lovely, charming.
Did, yeah.
In fact, yes. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but I mean,
Move on.
we're watching.
Be professional.
We're watching sweaty men for an hour or for 3 hours, right? And if I see a glimpse of a female at that point, I make a note.
Do you think there's a place for this in our podcast? If you'd like to see it removed, I can remove him from the podcast. Even though he does all the editing and most of the work, I can remove him from the podcast. If you think he's being an inappropriate person.
Sorry, yeah.
Anyhow,
yeah, sorry.
Be a professional.
I am.
You're like Jerry Lawler.
No.
I'm like, you know what? I'm Jim Ross.
Oh,
and
JBL.
And you are Jerry Lawler.
You're who would you be if you was a commentator? You'd be Michael Cole.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, so Macho tries to interfere with. So after Sherry's, you've gone.
Michael.
You would be Michael Cole. So Hulk uses the loaded purse to knock out Zeus. Then we get the leg drop for the pin. Wow.
Yep.
What a boring.
Yep.
I mean, I get the stories in the match. I get that they tried to make what they could out of it. For me, it's just Zeus completely ruined the match.
Yep, not great.
You
not
know,
good.
Want a wrestling match.
Nope.
Then Hulk atomic dropped Sherry. That's what you call that, isn't it? The
atomic drop.
Yeah. Who fell into Elizabeth, who hits her with a loaded purse, and Brutus cuts off a load of her hair.
Yep.
I think there was actually lines where he was supposed to cut. So I don't actually think it was any of her hair.
Yeah.
I think her hair was in a tight bun at the top, and she had like a fake piece of hair coming out. Yeah. I just wasn't impressed with that main event.
No one great.
No
one great.
Best match of the night.
I think we're agreed. Warrior.
I agree. Yeah, I thought it was, not just was it a good showing for Warrior. I thought the crowd made that match. I thought it was really good and so much better than the WrestleMania 5 match.
Yeah, totally.
So much better. Gear star rating for the event.
3.
3. I go 3.5.
Cool.
I enjoyed a lot of the work earlier on.
Yeah.
So 3.5. That's very rare for me to give higher than you.
You've done well. Done well today.
I've done well today. Thanks, boy.
Yeah.
Thanks, boy. So please, if you're enjoying our videos, give us a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon.
You can buy our stuff on Redbubble. You can buy our stuff. Where else can you buy our stuff?
On Patreon.
On Patreon.
On Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
All of these, search for Gimme a Hole, yeah.
It's a lot of effort doing, we appreciate everybody, everybody from one person to 50 people to a few hundred people. It's a lot of effort to do this. Anthony puts a lot of time into it. I do, and
You
just
do,
like
man.
a lot of people put a lot of time into things they love. We love it. If you like it, just give us a like, comment.
It really
Just 'cause
helps us out,
it
man.
means a lot. Do you know what I mean? Not even if you don't put any money into it, you know. I mean, that's
Just say thanks.
That's nice. You know, that's nice. I mean, it's not like we do it for the thanks, but it's lovely that when people do comment, we like responding to people. We like interacting with people.
Yeah, man.
We love your opinions,
Yeah.
rightly or wrongly, whatever. We love to discuss. We built this as a forum to discuss things that we love in wrestling history. So please be a part of that if you can. Thank you very much, and don't forget, keep it gay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's done.